Hello everyone, my name is Frank. I am a current sales engineer at Sweetwater Sound in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I am a former band director and percussion director from the DFW area in Texas. In this video, I will be discussing how to set up Cubase and Sibelius to connect to one another via the IAC bus while also setting up transport controls in Cubase. The purpose of doing this is eventually to have all audio control of your composition from within Cubase. You can set up automation, plugins, and so on and so forth to have a better sound overall while still being able to compose within Sibelius. Okay, so let's start within Cubase. So first things first, make sure that the Rewire is turned on, set to Sibelius. This will act as our Rewire master. Gonna add a virtual instrument here. We're gonna use the virtual drumline virtual instrument, so I'll add contact there. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. Now we need to add our MIDI tracks. Let's go to there. We're gonna have 3 of them. Just add track. Track 1 will be snare. Track 2 will be tenors. And then track 3 will be bass. All right, so here per track, what we're gonna need to do is route the MIDI information. So here within Sibelius, within Cubase, we have our input MIDI and our output MIDI. So happily this kind of ended up right for me just in this case, but we have all these IAC drivers, but we're gonna need to set the input MIDI to IAC driver 1. And then the output MIDI, we're gonna go to our instance of contact. So contact 516 out. And then we're gonna set the MIDI channel to 1. Okay, because this is going to be our first track. We're going to use the first MIDI channel, and then we're going to have to set the input transformer to filter out the other MIDI channel. So we click on the input transformer, click on local, because we only want to affect this one channel. Go up here to the presets, channel filtering, past channel 1. So this is going to filter out all MIDI channels except for channel 1. We're going to repeat the same process for the other channels, the other tracks here. Tenors, IAC driver IAC 1, moving MIDI out to contact 5, switching the channel to channel 2, and then input transformer, local, go up here to the preset menu, channel filtering past channel 2, then bass, IAC driver IAC 1, contact 5, channel to channel 3, input transformer to local, channel filtering past channel 3. All right, that's all set. So now let's go ahead and bring up contact. I'm going to set up our instruments here. So first snares, tenors. And if we set them up in order, in score order, it actually makes it all a lot easier. So we have that. Now, within contact, we want to make sure that our MIDI channels are correct. So snare is set to channel 1, tenors is set to channel 2, basses are set to channel 3. Now, at this point, it's important to realize that it doesn't matter what actual order these are visually, as long as the channels are correct. So snare, even though it's in the middle, is still set to 1. Tenors, even though they're on top, they're still set to 2, just so it can make it easier to stay organized visually. I'll move it back up, but here, these numbers here are what matter the most. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Sibelius. Here's just battery parts to show that I wrote some years ago. So from here, we're going to go to the play menu, setup, have all my MIDI devices, or audio devices, it's quite a bit, a lot of IAC drivers, but we'll select IAC driver IAC 1 because that's what we set up in Cubase and contact. So IAC driver IAC 1, I'm going to select VDL Soundset 7 manual. I believe I did make a video some time ago about how to modify the sound set from the right score to be able to allow you to choose manual. If not, I'll make another one, but you will need to modify it slightly So that way you'll be able to check this box, use manual sound set, because as you download that sound set, the XML file from the right score, you will not, by default, you'll not be able to check that. And in order for this to work, you need to be able to operate it manually. So here we will manually assign our instruments. So snare on channel 1, okay, and then we'll click apply. On channel 2, we had our tenors, click apply, and then on channel 3 we had our basses, click apply, save. If you haven't already named it, make up a name. This is from what I did earlier. Close. And then since we have everything set up manually, in the mixer we will have to manually set the channels. So IAC driver, IAC 1, and then channel 1, tenors, IAC driver, channel 2, baseline, IAC driver, channel 3. Okay, go ahead and close that. Go back to Cubase, make sure that we have monitor and record enabled on our 3 MIDI tracks here. Move my timeline back here, and then at this point when I click play, it should all just work. So let's find out. That's moving. Playback line is moving within Sibelius. Audio in MIDI is coming through in Cubase. All right, so it all worked. So now, why do you want to do this? Sibelius is a great notation program, offers you a lot of control on how things look, even in this day and age, even against Oracle and of course Finale. It's a great notation program. It is awful for audio. I mean, the mixer here doesn't actually control volume, it controls MIDI volume, which is not the same as output volume. If you look here, as far as effects, here you're limited to a master bus and some other buses, which is really not a lot. From within Cubase, you can route the audio from each individual instrument to separate outputs in Contact and route them to separate outputs within Cubase. It's a little bit of a process, so I'll go on that in another video, but you can have EQ, compression, reverb, whatever you want on each individual audio channel. Within the master audio channel, you can add plugins, like reverbs, compressor, EQ, limiter, everything that you want to do for more audio processing to get overall better sound. But if you want to be able to write from Sibelius, because it's a notation program, maybe that's what you're more used to, but then control sound from here, you'll be able to do that. Now, quick thing to be aware of though, playback and tempo and everything is in this setup is controlled from Cubase. So for example, this is set to 160, written 160 here. If I drop the tempo here down to, 120, go to the back here, this will play back at 120. Okay, so that's something to be aware of with this. So any measure changes, any meter changes, any tempo changes that you do in Sibelius, you have to manually redo them within Cubase, or else it's not going to play back right. So just something to be aware of. So hope you found this informative. If there's interest in this, I'll do more videos about how to again set up specific or individual outputs within audio outputs within Contact, so you can have individual audio channels within Cubase, so you can have more fine control over what you're doing. Just some other tips about panning, reverbs, effects on how to get the best possible sound. Again, hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to leave any comments below. I'm all over Facebook on the Mad Audio group, the Window Rangers group, and the VDL group. So feel free to message me there, and always happy to help out any way I can. Appreciate your time, and you take care.